fame made them untouchable. Until life reminded them they're human too.
It was just past 9 p.m. on a crisp autumn evening in Manhattan City, lights shimmering in the windows of his Upper West Side apartment. The hush before a storm of concern. In the hallway, hurried footsteps, the whir of a gurney. Bryant Gumbel, age 77, known for his gravel-toned voice, his calm but commanding presence across decades of television and sports journalism, was wheeled out of his home by first responders, lifted into an ambulance, and driven through the pulse of New York City to a hospital where the unknown waited. A beloved broadcaster, a public figure, now vulnerable in a moment of private crisis, and the world watched. Family members say he is okay. But the nature of the emergency remains undisclosed. In that moment, the sharp outlines of a life lived on air, a career built under lights and cameras, flickered into the softer light of introspection. The man who narrated other people's stories found himself at the center of his own. This is the story of Bryant Gumbel, the story of a voice that accompanied our mornings, a truth seeker in sports and journalism, and now, a reminder that even legends must face fragility. Imagine a studio bathed in fluorescent light, the buzzing rhythm of a newsroom, the teleprompter ticking, the camera lens glinting. A young man steps in front of the mic and says, "Good morning, I'm Bryant Gumbel." It is 1982. He is about to become the face of a new era for the Today Show on NBC. He brings to the broadcast not just a polished voice, but a sense of urgency, integrity, and style. He brings questions. He brings heart. Born September 29, 1948, Bryant Charles Gumbel grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, the son of a news editor father and homemaker mother. His older brother, Greg, would also become a major figure in sports broadcasting. But Bryant carved a path of his own. He began as a sports anchor in Los Angeles, moved to NBC Sports in 1975, then in 1982 shifted to NBC News and the Today program, where he stayed until 1997. His presence wasn't just about looking good on camera, it was about being real. He asked tough questions, he probed uncomfortable truths, and he didn't shy away from the intersections of sport, society, and humanity. In 1995, he began hosting the HBO series Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, which ran for 29 seasons until December 2023. He became four-time Emmy winner, recipient of Peabody Awards, and a voice many turned to when news and sport converged. And now, the man who has stood behind the news desk, guiding the story of others, is experiencing his own chapter of vulnerability. Hospitalized, wheels beneath him, lights flashing outside the hospital, watchers across the world waiting for an update. This isn't just a story of illness or concern. It is a story of resilience, of pivoting life when the cameras switched off, of facing the mirror that hardly ever reflected him. And so we begin. The year is 1982. In a studio overlooking Rockefeller Center, Bryant Gumbel walks on stage. In the years that follow, he anchors Today for 15 years, becoming a morning companion to millions. His voice enters households, his questions shape narratives. He interviews world leaders, he covers major events. He becomes a trusted figure in an age of growing media complexity. In one memorable moment, he clues into the shifting nature of journalism, no longer just reading the headlines, but interrogating their meaning. He sets the tone for a new era of broadcast that blends news and character. In 1995, Gumbel launches Real Sports. For nearly 3 decades, the show digs into stories from the corners of the sporting world: corruption, labor slavery, concussions, the hidden tolls of athletic glory. One episode uncovers how children in the Middle East are used as camel race jockeys. Another investigates concussion crises in American football. The journalism is persistent, urgent, innovative. Gumbel's voice guides viewers into worlds unseen. In October 2009, Bryant Gumbel publicly disclosed that he had underlying health concerns, surgery to remove part of his lung following a malignant tumor. He had smoked heavily in his younger years, 3 packs a day, and now faced the consequences. Those events changed his relationship with life. The broadcaster, who once seemed impervious, found himself in a hospital corridor, reflecting on mortality. He said, "It's nothing to hide from. They opened up my chest, they took a malignant tumor, and they took part of my lung, and they took some other goodies." These 3 highlights show a man's ascent, his impact, and his personal vulnerability. The world knew Bryant Gumbel as a voice, a face, a presence. But behind that facade was a human story marked by ambition, challenge, reinvention, and now the subtle tremors of mortality. Raised in a working-class New Orleans family, Bryant watched his father, Gilbert Bill Gumbel, edit a newspaper. He absorbed the sense that words matter, that story matters. His brother Greg would become a broadcaster too, but Bryant had his own spark. At Florida A&M University, he graduated with a degree in government and communications, then moved into local TV in Los Angeles. In 1975, he joined NBC Sports, covering major events. The 1979 NCAA title game between Magic Johnson's Michigan State and Larry Bird's Indiana State is among his early high-profile sports assignments. Then, 1982 brought the move, co-host of the Today Show. He stepped into living rooms across America every morning. His voice became a sunrise for viewers. He held court with celebrities, politicians, athletes. He stood at the nexus of culture and broadcasting. His style combined gravitas with accessibility. He asked big questions. Over the 1980s and early 1990s, he became a broadcast icon. He brought into the morning news hour a sense of seriousness about sport, society, and the power of story. His awards piled up. In 1993, he was named Journalist of the Year by the National Association of Black Journalists. In 1995, Gumbel turned a new corner. Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel on HBO. For 29 seasons, the show became the gold standard of sports journalism. Episode after episode, the show confronted issues other outlets ignored. Doping scandals, the death of athletes, labor rights, politics in sport, the human cost of competition. In one story, they revealed how the labor of migrant workers in Qatar created the stage for the World Cup. In another, they exposed corruption in the IOC. The tone was not sensational, rather quietly determined, fact-driven, and human. Bryant's voice remained steady, guiding the audience through revelation, asking the soft but hard questions. His legacy in sport media became cemented. He won Peabody Awards, multiple Emmys, and the respect of industry and audience alike. Behind the cameras, Bryant faced his own trials. His younger self had smoked heavily. He later admitted to 3 packs a day during his youth. That past caught up. In 2009, he underwent surgery to remove part of his lung after a malignant tumor was discovered. He reflected publicly on that moment. "It's nothing to hide from. They opened up my chest, they took a malignant tumor, and they took part of my lung, and they took some other goodies." It was a reckoning, with mortality, with lifestyle, with legacy. Many of his viewers may not have realized how personal this battle was, but the fact remained. The man who asked questions of others found himself asking questions of himself. December 2023 marked the conclusion of Real Sports. After 29 seasons, the show signed off. In the final episode, Bryant closed a chapter, not just of a show, but of a career deeply embedded in broadcasting's high stakes. He spoke about the role of sport as a lens through which society reveals itself. The victories, the defeats, the heartbreak, the hope. Viewers watched, analysts reflected, and a legacy was firm. Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." For Bryant, the long run of a show that rejected cliches and embraced substance felt like proof of that. And then came October 20th, 2025. Bryant Gumbel, 77, was reported to have suffered a medical emergency in his Manhattan apartment. He was transported by first responders to hospital on a gurney and remains under care. The family has described him as okay. The news surprised many who knew him only through his televised solidity and presence. It reminded us, the loudest voices sometimes are quietest in private moments. It reminded us, life remains unpredictable. The report said that he was taken from his building at around 9 p.m. Monday and was still receiving treatment the next afternoon. No further details were made public. To the fans, to the community of journalists, to the people who grew up watching him anchor mornings or host late-night sports stories, this moment stirred unease. Social media comments poured in, concern, admiration, hope. On Reddit, one commenter said, "Real Sports was one of the only shows my wife got mad at if I watch without her." Just amazing journalism and stories. Now, the story has shifted. It's no longer only about what Bryant Gumbel broadcasts to the world, it's about what he experiences behind the scenes. This event is not just a health scare. It is a punctuation in a remarkable career, a marker for reflection, a call to consider what comes after the spotlight. In the full sweep of his story, Bryant Gumbel did more than host shows. He transformed narratives. He brought lived experience and humanity to reporting. He tapped into the connective tissue between sport and society. For many viewers, he was familiar, not in the way of a friend, but of a trusted voice guiding morning coffee or late-night reflection. His path intersects themes of race, media, journalism integrity, personal health, legacy, and reinvention. He inhabited multiple worlds: news anchor, sportscaster, investigative voice, and survivor. Now, as he recovers from the recent medical emergency, we are invited into a new chapter. What does it mean to step away from the microphone? What does it mean when the news becomes personal? How does one who covered others now receive support from others? Because in the age of viral trends and instant news, this isn't just another celebrity health story. This is about someone whose entire life was built around telling stories, now living one. The hospitalization is a viral moment, not because of spectacle, but because of humanity. It's a reminder that the narrators of narratives are human. And for fans of storytelling, of journalism, of sport, and of truth-seeking, Bryant Gumbel's moment invites us to pause, to reflect on our own lives, on our own legacies, on what matters when the camera turns off. Because if someone who seemed invincible can be laid low, perhaps we all should pay attention to the fragility beneath the facade. We do not yet know the full details of his condition. We do know he is receiving treatment. We know that family has asked for privacy, and that the public has offered concern. We know that in this silence lies hope, meditation, and the space for transformation. For Bryant Gumbel, the silence may be the loudest story yet. In this quiet hospital wing, another chapter is being written, one of recovery, one possibly of mentorship, one of stepping out of the microphone, but not out of purpose. Perhaps he will reflect on his many years in media and find new ways to shape stories, off camera. Perhaps he will use his platform, his voice, in a different register. Health awareness, legacy storytelling, quiet influence. In any case, this moment reminds us of the arc of a life lived publicly, but also intimately. It reminds us that even giants can have soft floors, and that hearts that carry millions of voices also need caring. Bryant Gumbel's life has already meant so much. He guided mornings, he led investigations, he brought kindness and curiosity to the airwaves. He has built a legacy defined by courage and insight. And now, facing a new reality, his story asks us to listen differently, to be empathic, to remember that behind every camera lens is a person. As we await word of his recovery, the world watches not just the broadcaster, but the human being. Not just the voice, but the life. And in doing so, we are reminded that the most powerful stories are those that mirror our own fears and hopes, that lay bare our mortality and resilience, that invite us to stand with one another. This is not the end of Bryant Gumbel's story. It is another chapter, maybe quieter, maybe inside walls of healing rather than studios of broadcast, but no less important. Because if life is a story, then this moment, vulnerable as it is, becomes part of the narrative, the chapter where the narrator becomes the subject and the audience holds its breath. If you have ever sat down with your morning coffee and switched on the Today Show and heard the voice of Bryant Gumbel guiding the hour, if you have ever turned on Real Sports and felt the weight of a story you hadn't heard before, then take a moment now. Like this video, subscribe for updates. Follow this channel to keep track of Bryant Gumbel's journey from broadcaster to human being. Share this story with someone you know who values truth, who cares about legacy, who understands that every voice once amplified needs a pause. Let's stand together in hope, in gratitude, in respect for the man who spent decades telling other people's stories, and now allows us to witness his own. Because every story matters, and every storyteller deserves our attention.